play hockey outdoors.
Yeah,
To what do we owe every time here anyway? So to what do we owe the pleasure? What
it
is
was an
it?
open day on my calendar.
Wow.
Actually, it was pretty good. Holiday week, it made sense to come up here and take in this game. It's been good so far.
Back on a bit.
You can't. You can't. The IHF, there's a few IHF officials here. Have you had any meetings with them?
No official meetings. Horst Lichtner is here, the General Secretary of the International Ice Hockey Federation. I spent the first period with him. A good friend, but no business.
That's great, Bill. Thanks.
Change your mind on the Olympics? Anything like that?
No, hasn't even. Actually, I think Horst said, when are we talking about the Olympics? That was the closest we got to business.
And what was your answer?
Certainly not any time before Pyeongchang.
What's your thoughts on this particular tournament?
We love this tournament. It's become certainly a staple in the hockey calendar and something all our clubs look forward to. Some great talent on the ice, some future stars in the National Hockey League. It's a fun tournament to watch for sure.
And what do you think? I mean, the Winter Classic here 10 years ago, there were outdoor games before it, but the idea of outdoor games really seemed to take off with that.
Yeah, it's. I think it's a little colder today, but certainly the snow is reminiscent of what we saw in Buffalo 10 years ago. I can't believe it's been 10 years already, but it's a great backdrop for this game.
How much do you think that initial snow globe scene really captured everybody's imagination when there was questions as to whether any team wanted this thing?
Yeah, no, I think we got very, very fortunate that day. There's no doubt. If it was 5 degrees warmer and it had been a steady rain instead of snow, I'm not sure we'd be playing these games the way we're doing now. So we got very, very fortunate. It was great. A very fortunate confluence of events. It was a great game. It was a superstar ending in a shootout in the middle of the snow. So it did capture people's imagination. There's no doubt.
Bill, there seems to be some sort of speculation that perhaps some players could boycott the All-Star game, if you will, to kind of as a form of protest over the Olympics decision. Are you hearing any of those rumblings? And if that does happen, will those players indeed be suspended or dealt with in terms of discipline?
I haven't heard those rumblings. Certainly, there was a sense that potentially we might see something like that, but quite frankly, I know there's some disappointed players who won't get to participate in the Olympics, but I think they, for the most part, from what I've seen, they have turned the page. They put that behind us. We're in a regular season. It'll be a regular All-Star game. We're looking forward to Tampa, and we have no sense that will happen.
There are rules in place, though, for that sort of thing happening. Would you be inclined to enforce those rules if somebody skipped out for that reason?
Sure, the rules would be enforced, but they're standard rules that apply every year. So
right.
Nothing special for this game.
Given that you won't be talking about the Olympics until after South Korea, what are your thoughts looking ahead to initial thoughts looking ahead to 2022?
I mean, it's very premature for me to even go there. I mean, I've obviously talked about this in the past, and we've been asked the questions. I mean, the issues. Each Olympics is different. It's a different equation. It's a different value proposition. These particular Olympics that are coming up, ultimately, the negatives outweighed the positives for our owners. I don't know what Beijing will hold. Obviously, some of the logistical difficulties that we'd have with South Korea will be the same in China. But maybe there's some other opportunities in China that aren't in South Korea. So we'll see.
How does events like this help sell hockey in non-hockey markets?
Well, I do think it captures your imagination a little bit. The whole scene here, big stadium, a lot of fans. It's a social experience. It's a different type of hockey experience, and it looks like the players are having fun. So all of that creates a certain appeal and charisma for our game, and I think is helpful in all hockey markets.
Bill, is there anything happening that any sort of updates on the Seattle situation?
No, we were able to get kind of a form of an application out to the potential ownership group, and I assume they're working on it. But again, these aren't. It's not going to be quick. It's a process.
How unique is the Winter Classic going to be getting staged in New York?
We're excited about it for sure. It's something we've given a lot of thought to over the 10 years that we've been doing these games, about having a Winter Classic in New York, and some of the challenges that presents, but also some of the opportunities it presents. So we're certainly looking forward to it. Hopefully, it warms up a little bit in New York because it's pretty cold, but I think everybody's looking forward to the game.
You got the Sabres in it this year, and there's been some criticism in the past about the same teams, and you already announced next year, and the Blackhawks and Bruins are in again. How do you balance, television ratings and marquee teams with some fans' desire to see different teams?
Yeah, it's a balance. There's no doubt. I actually was asked that question during the first period, just casually, and we talked about, actually by Horst Lichtner in the IHF, how do we pick locations and teams, and a lot of different considerations. And it's not lost on us, the issues about repeat appearances and where you move this game. And you got to keep it fresh. You got to keep reinventing the game every year. And all of our outdoor games, the Stadium Series has to be unique in certain ways, and we have to be creative and think outside the box and how you do that every year.
How much concern, maybe concern is not the right word, but how much concern is there about having a bad team in the Winter Classic, the way things have gone for the Sabres?
You know what? You can't handicap that on any given year because you have to make those decisions early on. I don't think there's a concern at all. I think the Sabres really deserve to be there. I think they're part of the history of this game. I think it's a compelling matchup on that basis alone. And in New York, intrastate rivals is pretty cool.
Given how well Vegas is doing, has there been any rumblings? I know back when the NBA expanded, there was rumblings that expansion teams may have got things too easy. Is there any thought that maybe Vegas may have gotten things too easy, and you may change the expansion rules when you might expand again?
We haven't really. I mean, we had our board meeting in early December in Florida. That did not come up. We've had one general managers meeting, I guess, since the season started. We have another one in March. I think there's a general level of satisfaction. I haven't heard a lot of griping. Everybody kind of knew what the intention was, which was to give them an ability to be competitive. I don't think anybody expected them to have the success they're having currently, but I don't think there's anybody complaining about it either.
I know that Buffalo is in the Winter Classic this year, but with the event that's going on here, is there a potential future for any other outdoor games here in Buffalo?
I'm sure there is. We haven't given it recent thought. Certainly when we made the decision to put the Sabres in the Winter Classic in New York, there was consideration being given to when we come back to Buffalo. So, I'm sure it'll happen at some point in time. But,
why was it not Buffalo this year? The rink was already set up.
Actually, I think everybody thought that having two big events here in a short period of time, big hockey events, probably wasn't the best way to approach things for probably either game.
Bill, what do you enjoy most about this tournament?
Stars of the future. I mean, I think the level of junior hockey and prospects has become the popularity of this tournament today versus what it was 20 years ago. Big difference. Everybody is very, very interested in the future of the game, and you're seeing the future of the game on the ice.
Thanks, Bill.
Thanks,
Okay,
Bill.